Hey, coach. Welcome to this coaching refresh. This is a beginner's course, and we're not here to reinvent the game. The mission is clear. Revisit what truly matters. The things we've practiced, taught, and repeated for years, but that deserve a fresh look. Over time, habits settle in. We coach on autopilot, repeat drills, and follow routines. But when was the last time we stopped to question why we do what we do? This journey is about sharpening the details, the small things that separate good from great. My goal is simple: to challenge your thinking, refresh your perspective, and give you tools to help your athletes grow. Let's begin. Your coaching reset starts now. Welcome to Module 1, Block. Blocking is the first line of defense in volleyball, the team's initial attempt to stop the opponent's attack. Although often seen as a reactive movement, blocking is a strategic and coordinated action that begins even before the opponent sets the ball. More than simply interrupting the attack, it helps shape the rhythm of the game by influencing the opponent's decisions and directing their shots into the most protected defensive zones. This module will explore the key elements of blocking, from individual skills to collective systems. We'll focus on technical execution, timing, tactical reading, and player coordination. An effective block requires quick lateral movement along the net, precise timing, and a clear understanding of the opponent's attacking patterns. Acting individually or in sync with teammates, blockers must read the play, close attacking angles, and turn defensive pressure into scoring opportunities. When executed with precision, blocking not only stops the ball, it breaks the opponent's rhythm, shifts the game's momentum, and lays the foundation for the entire defense. Blocking is the first offensive action, aiming to prevent the opponent's spikers from sending the ball over the net. Although blocking is reactive, it plays both a defensive and offensive role. A strong block can score points and disrupt the opponent's attack rhythm. The block operates within a defensive system, guiding the ball into pre-planned defensive zones to maximize court coverage. Timing and positioning are critical because blockers react to the attacker's actions instead of controlling the play. Blocking is considered the most difficult skill in volleyball because of its reactive nature, high technical demands, and lack of direct control. Even when executed perfectly, a block does not guarantee a perfect result. Players must learn the correct processes, and coaches should focus feedback on the actions, not just the outcomes. An effective block not only stops the ball, but also influences the opponent's attack and strengthens the team's defense. Like serve reception and defense, blocking depends on the opponent's actions, meaning players never have full control over the final result. More than just defense. Score with the block. A block must be seen as an attacking action. A strong, well-formed block can score points directly, just like a spike. Control the ball. If a block point is not possible, the next goal is to deflect the ball to benefit the defense. Force attacker errors. An aggressive block pressures the attacker to take riskier shots, increasing mistakes like hitting out or into the net. Work with the defense. The block and defense must act together, guiding the ball into well-covered areas of the court. Create a new chance. Forcing the opponent to attack again gives the defending team another opportunity to counter and win the point. Blocking is not just about stopping the ball. It's about shaping the opponent's attack and building your team's next move. A well-penetrated block reduces the attacker's options. Hands must extend into the opponent's court, not just above the net. Shoulders stay parallel to the net for balance and stability. Hands should be no wider than shoulder width and push forward aggressively. Hands should lead the movement, staying slightly ahead of the shoulders and close together during the approach. As the blocker jumps, the hands extend toward the top of the net, aiming to penetrate the net plane as early as possible, fingers first. At peak penetration, the core must be tight, elbows locked, and wrists and fingers firm, creating a strong blocking wall. If the blocker is high enough, shoulders should push forward, maximizing forward penetration. Fingers must point upward, not thumbs. The hands must press aggressively forward into the opponent's court to minimize seams and reduce tooling chances. Some coaches teach an active, sweeping hand motion toward the court to limit tooling, but timing is critical to avoid opening gaps. Blockers must jump and land in the same spot to maintain balance. Any lateral movement in the air, reduces penetration and control. Focus on a vertical, straight jump with hands pressing into the court. For middles, start from a balanced, ready position, with feet shoulder-width apart, and eyes focus on the setter's hands. Feet positioned too wide limit the ability to take a strong first step. The first move is a long stride with the lead foot toward the ball's direction. Rotate the hips naturally to align with the movement. Cross step follows, bringing the trailing foot across and turning toward the net. Final step closes toward the net, helping the hips square up to the net and stabilizing body alignment. Our motion must be short and explosive, with bent elbows to maximize jump height and accelerate hand penetration. Focus on pushing both hands equally over the net, especially the inside hand, to control body rotation. After landing, allow natural body rotation and remaining lateral momentum position behind the outside blocker. Outside blockers initiate movement from a balanced, ready position, keeping their eyes focused on the setter's hands. They do not wait for the middle blocker to move first. There are three main footwork variations: step cross, a long step followed by a crossover; single cross step, a direct crossover without a preliminary step; and shuffle, small, quick steps. The choice depends on the distance of the attacker and the blocker's initial base position. In the step cross, the movement begins with a long stride using the lead foot, the foot closest to the direction of the ball, with the hips rotating naturally toward the net. In the single cross step, the blocker directly crosses the opposite leg over without a prior step, taking advantage of a wider stance to accelerate lateral movement. In the shuffle step, the blocker remains facing the net and makes quick lateral steps to adjust the distance to the target. Arm action should be compact, quick, and powerful, with elbows slightly bent, to maximize jump height and penetration over the net. The jump should be timed to occur just after the attacker's jump, improving reading and reaction. The focus must be on maintaining stability, jumping and landing in the same spot to ensure balance and blocking efficiency. Shuffle movement. The cross-step technique favors aggression and penetration, but may not always be ideal in extremely fast attacks. In high-speed situations, blockers can use a lateral shuffle with small, quick steps to quickly reach blocking position. There is an option to perform the shuffle with hands already elevated near the top of the net, anticipating the blocking action. Alternatively, the shuffle can be performed while maintaining the hands at shoulder height, ready to extend at the moment of the jump. The shuffle can also be used in situations where there is more time available, such as during high ball sets from deep in the court, allowing the blocker to reach the final position early and organize the block more effectively. In this case, the primary goal is to control the ball's trajectory and direct the attack into the defensive system. Shuffle movement. The shuffle step is used in blocking to enable quick lateral movement while maintaining a stable, square posture facing the net. This type of footwork is most commonly applied by middle blockers, especially in the central zone of court, due to its speed and precision. However, the use of the shuffle is determined not by the player's position, but by the distance to be covered. Middle blockers also rely on this technique when moving to block pin hitters in commit or overload situations. Although more frequent in central movements, the shuffle can also be used by outside blockers shifting from the sideline toward the center of the court or vice versa. For instance, when the blocker in position 4 moves inward to assist with a quick attack. One of its variations is a shuffle hop, used mainly for small adjustments over short distances. This adaptation enables agility and fast repositioning with a single lateral step, while maintaining control and readiness to jump. A limitation of the shuffle step is its reduced blocking reach compared to step cross techniques, but the speed and control it provides make it highly effective for closing space quickly and improving block timing. Single cross step. Extremely tall or highly athletic blockers may use the single cross step movement as an alternative. Starting from a slightly wider stance than usual, the blocker initiates the movement by rotating the foot closest to the intended direction without lifting it off the ground. The following cross step is similar to the regular step cross technique. This movement is faster than the traditional step cross, but requires greater balance, coordination, and athletic ability. I sequence. How blockers read the play. Follow the sequence. Receiver, ball, setter, ball, spiker. This I sequence represents a foundation of reading for most blockers, but it can change depending on the type of block, read or commit. In a read block, the blocker follows the full visual progression, gathering as much information as possible before reacting. In a commit block, especially against quick offenses or dominant attackers, the blocker may anticipate the set and focus earlier on the hitter or the setter's cues. Pay special attention to the setter's style. Some setters use short-distance sets, quick plays, while others operate from a longer range, which affects timing and the blocker's reading window. Focus entirely on the setter's hands. They're the only player who knows where the ball will go. Maintain that focus until the ball is released. Important cues can also be gathered from the hitter's position and approach before the setter contacts the ball. After the ball is released, shift attention quickly to the hitter while still moving. Use peripheral vision to track the spiker's approach and adjust your timing and positioning. Watch the set only briefly. Then immediately switch your eyes to the hitter. Reading is a read and react process. Observe, confirm, and respond. Blockers must be alert for fake sets and attacker decoys. Focus on the setter's body and hand position, not head fakes or gestures. Do not jump early based on hesitation moves or fake approaches. Delay the jump slightly to confirm the real attacker before committing. The final blocking position is determined by the spiker's approach. The outside blocker must face the spiker directly. The middle blocker must close the seam, positioning as close as possible to the outside blocker. If time allows, blockers should reach a shoulder-to-shoulder position to eliminate gaps. Shoulders and hips must stay square to the net at the moment of penetration. Hands must press strong and firm over the net, closing any space between blockers. Communication during movement is crucial to adjust in real time and fully close the seam. On high ball sets, blockers have more time and should focus on early positioning using a shuffle or lateral step. Reach the final blocking position early to execute a well-formed and well-timed block. The goal is to intercept the ball at its peak, even if the jump is less aggressive than a cross-step block. Hands must press forward over the net to guide the ball into the defense. Focus on reading the hitter's body mechanics to anticipate shot direction. These blocks tend to prioritize control and redirection rather than point scoring. Blocking is not only an individual technique. It is a coordinated team effort. The way blockers work together directly impacts the team's overall defensive performance. In read blocking systems, the goal is to involve the maximum number of blockers in every attack. Since the middle blocker tracks the direction set, they consistently arrive at the point of attack, ensuring a minimum of a double block. However, teams should aim for more. If there's an opportunity to place 3 blockers at the point of attack, it must be taken. Achieving a triple block requires discipline, communication, and timing, but when successful, it places significant pressure on the opposing offense and shifts the advantage toward the defense. Each blocker is primarily responsible for the spiker in their own zone. For example, position 4 blocker covers the opponent's position 2/1 spiker. Helping on quick attacks and forming double/triple blocks is important, but secondary to zone responsibility. In combination plays, blockers must communicate and adjust to attackers' switching zones. The outside blocker defines the initial blocking position based on team strategy and the opponent's attack tendencies. The middle blocker must quickly move shoulder to shoulder with the outside blocker to eliminate any seam between them. Both blockers must block straight ahead, keeping proper form. They should not reach into the seam, which increases the risk of being tooled. If a seam appears, it means the middle blocker is too far and needs to adjust position. If there is enough time to get into position, there should be no seam at all. In fast plays where the middle arrives late, there are two options. Try to reach into the seam and block aggressively near the net, directing the hands slightly backward to keep the ball playable. Or perform a standard block focusing on strong penetration and body alignment, often easier to defend around. In a middle attack, the middle blocker defines the blocking position, choosing to close position 1, position 5, or block the ball directly, depending on the team strategy. The outside blocker or pin must move in quickly using a shuffle step to help close the seam. Even if slightly late, the pin must jump and press over the net to support the block. If there is not enough time to join, the outside blocker should immediately shift to an off-blocker cover roll, positioning behind the middle to defend tips or deflections. The outside hand of the pin blocker should angle inward, helping prevent tools, a technique often called wrapping the hitter. Proper coordination ensures no gaps between blockers and helps funnel the attack into the defensive system. To maximize the number of blockers on every play, outside blockers must be ready to assist in blocking quick attacks when necessary. Blockers start in their read blocking base positions, a spot from which they can still reach the outside block if needed. They hold their zone until the setter's direction becomes clear. If the quick attack occurs within their zone, the outside blocker assists by jumping and reaching directly toward the attacker. The blocker at position may 4 assist in blocking attacks 1, or 6 of the blocker at position 2 typically assists in blocking attack 3. Hands must press over the net, leaving no space between the arms and the net. Note, the outside hitter remains the primary responsibility. Assisting on quick attack should never compromise coverage of the outside attack. Use the triple block whenever possible, bad reception, non-setter setting, or setter far from the net. If the set is clearly going to one attacker, all 3 blockers shuffle early into position. All 3 blockers jump together. There must be no seams. When the set could go to either side, position 2 or 4, blockers begin and read blocking positions. As soon as the set direction is identified, all blockers must move quickly into position. Footwork is flexible at the start, but the final step for each player should be a cross step. Use short, quick steps to avoid collisions and ensure synchronization. All 3 blockers must jump together, covering the line first to force the hitter into stronger defensive zones. If the third blocker cannot arrive in time, they must continue moving off the net into a tip coverage position behind the 2 blockers. Congratulations on completing this module on blocking fundamentals. Throughout this course, you explored the basics of individual blocking technique, how to coordinate effective double and triple blocks, how to read the setter and spiker to anticipate the play, footwork variations like the step cross, shuffle, and shuffle hop, tactical blocking systems, including commit and overload strategies, how to assist on quick attacks without compromising outside coverage. You are now ready to move forward with confidence. Let's keep building your skills step by step.